Hello, this is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. If you could please hit the like button, share, and subscribe, that would be great. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers sometime in the next few months, so if you guys could help out, that would be absolutely awesome. All right, I have some thoughts on the Idaho Four murder case. The Jack S. individual, the hoodie guy that was at the grub truck, doesn't seem to me to be part of anything. Yes, he was interesting at the beginning because he seemed to be this weird person that was sort of standing in the background and just following the girls. But as you can see in that recent video that was released, Kaylee, Madison, and that individual were all walking together to the grub truck, leaving the corner club where they were just at. So this video here is probably, it's around 1:30 when they're walking by here. In the video itself, though, it's possible that the camera recorded a significant moment. The odds are so low that it happened to catch that because it's the only really clear audio right as it's going underneath that camera, just a few blocks away from the grub truck. And the camera records Kaylee saying, "Maddie, what did you say to Adam?" Maddie said, I told Adam everything.
What did you say to Adam? I told Adam everything.
Okay, now what is that everything? And, the way that Maddie said, "What did you say to Adam?" almost implies that maybe Adam was acting a little differently and that Kaylee noticed that, and then walking home, she asked Maddie, "What did you say to Adam?" And then Maddie said, "I told Adam everything." Law enforcement might know exactly what that everything was. And one thing that makes Adam a more interesting character is that he is referenced there in this audio file as that he was told everything. It could be completely meaningless. Yes, we know that. However, law enforcement seem to sort of indicate that there is a little bit more to what Adam was told, or just Adam in general, because what they put out on the 20th, December 20th, 2022, in one of their normal updates, they said another video believed to be taken on the night of the murders at a local downtown business is known to the investigators. Investigators have identified an individual called Adam in the video, and he is cooperating with detectives. Now, I find the use of the word cooperating with detectives quite different than the phrasing that they use to refer to the other people that they do not believe are involved in the crime. All right, they're saying he's cooperating. That is much more interesting to me than how they've referred to the others by saying, "At this time in the investigation, detectives do not believe that the following are involved in this crime." They do say "at this time," and that allows them some wiggle room in case it turns out later the investigation leads back to one of the people that they cleared, so they'll say "at this time in the investigation." And the people that they seemingly cleared at that time were two surviving roommates, so the two female surviving roommates, the male in the grub truck surveillance video, and that is Jack S., the individual seen walking with them from the corner club to the grub truck, and the individual seen in the grub truck video that seemed a little dodgy at the beginning, but over time has become much, much less dodgy. Now, there's going to be people out there that can't let their little POI, they like to call them, go, so they're going to keep attacking Jack over and over and over and over again, regardless of what the information tells them. That's called tunnel vision. They also said the private party driver who took Kaylee and Madison home on November 13th. As you remember at the grub truck video, Kaylee and Madison, after purchasing their food and waiting for their food and then finally getting their food, quickly exit stage right and sort of head out into the street area. We can't really see that, but it's in front of the grub truck. And then they get a ride from a private party. That individual has also been cleared. The male that Kaylee and Madison called numerous times during the early morning hours of November 13th. Now that individual is Jack D., the ex-boyfriend of Kaylee. Now he's an interesting person because at 2:26 a.m., we're getting much closer to the time that all four of these individuals were murdered. At 2:26 a.m. on Sunday morning, at 2:26 a.m. on November 13th, 2022, Kaylee tried calling Jack D. from 2:26 to 2:44 6 times. Apparently after Jack didn't respond, she likely told Madison, hey, I think he's screening his calls. What if you try to call? So then Madison used her phone to call Jack 3 times from 2:44 to 2:52 and still got no response. And then Kaylee tried calling one more time at 2:52 and got no response. And that's likely when they went to sleep. So he was an interesting individual because, and he's still interesting just because the timing of everything and the circumstances, the ex-boyfriend, they share a dog together, but law enforcement has said that at this time they are not interested in him and they don't believe he has anything to do with the case. They also said that any individual at the residence when the 911 call was made, or the individual on the lease who moved out of the residence before the school year started and was not present at the time of the incident. That's where we're at on all of those people. Adam does seem to be more interesting to law enforcement as he is cooperating with them. The reason I did this segment here was to distinguish what I believe is a significant difference between how they referred to the Adam individual and the other people. Now in the future they might say, we also at this time do not believe that Adam has anything to do with the murders or the case, and then he'll be in the same boat as the rest of them, but currently he's not there. He's cooperating with police. Okay, now the other thing that I wanted to talk about was Ethan killed first and were all 5 girls the targets? Now Kaylee's father, Steve Gonzalez, states that his daughter's wounds were different than the others. But you have to ask yourself, does that mean that Kaylee was the target? Or could it be that Kaylee's wounds were different due to the circumstances of the attack itself? Maybe the others were sleeping and that they were attacked differently. Just because one was attacked more severely does not necessarily mean that they were the target. Steve Gonzalez said, the killer's entry and exit are available without having to go upstairs or downstairs. It looks like he probably may have not gone downstairs. We don't know that for sure, but we obviously know he went upstairs. So I'm using logic that he chose to go up there when he didn't have to. I think it also could imply that Zaina and Ethan were killed first. And maybe the order would be Ethan and then Zaina. And the reason I think that is because he's saying that same statement implies that even after he killed Zaina and Ethan, he still went upstairs. But he could also just mean that going upstairs is out of the way, but isn't everybody a little bit out of the way in this case? They're all in strange areas. But I just want people to think about the possibility that maybe Ethan was killed first and then Zaina. And I've been working on this 3D animation here for a while. I've got a whole new model that I built because the other one dimensions weren't quite right. So here's how most people believe this case went down. The killer comes through the sliding glass door. This room right here is one of the unknown rooms here. Was one of the surviving roommates living in that room? From everything we've heard, it sounds like the roommates were living downstairs. Now we know that in September there was a body camera video that shows You can see through the crack of the window that there's golf clubs, and it sort of seems like almost like an unlived-in room, more like storage people have referred to. But we don't know if somebody didn't move all the way in there in those last 2.5 months, because the murders were, something like 10 weeks after that body camera video. So that was September, early September, and then November 13th was the murder. So one of those roommates could have actually moved in there completely. This room right here is another room. Now, this room right here seems like it'd be really noisy to live in. People going to the kitchen, cooking, talking, people in the living room. The living room is right over here, the wall. It just would be really noisy. Now, downstairs, it would probably be a little quieter in terms of hearing the noise throughout the house. And if we were just going to look at that really quick, let me show you that. So here's the entire house. This is the front door. This room right here is directly below Zaina's room, and this room right here is directly below the living room. Okay, and here is the front door, and on the second floor, that's the kitchen entry that we're going to be showing. Here's the individual right there. And I'll go to his camera, and goes through the sliding glass door. There's the unknown room right there. Then the killer. This is the typical way that people see this going down. And then goes up the U-shaped stairs and then into Madison's room. We don't know exactly what was going on in there. Perhaps one of them got up and tried to fight and started yelling. We don't know, but that could be why the wounds are different on Kaylee, according to Steve Gonzalez. And this room right here is Kaylee's room. The killer, if they had gone to the house, I think Ethan is somebody that was an unknown factor to the killer. I think they went there to either kill all 5 people that lived there, the girls, and Ethan just happened to be there. The 2 surviving roommates may have just gotten lucky because there was too much noise made on the killings of the first 4 people in the house, and or they locked their doors. So that's Kaylee's room. The killer could have tried that first. Then goes down the stairs here, passes that same unused room as far as we're aware of, and then into the living room here. And these stairs right here go down to, there's a stairways that goes right down here to the first floor. Then a hard left is made, and this is Zaina's room. And then apparently he killed both of them, Zaina and Ethan, and then goes back into the kitchen and exits out that way. But what if Ethan was first? So to sort of simulate that, we'll have to go all the way up here. So just keep this in mind. Right here is the roommate door, or not the roommate door, but the door of a room that we don't know who's using it. Here's the living room, okay? So I'm going to go all the way up here and then back to, I think it was right here. So here's that unknown room. We're going into the living room. So what if this was first? The person's walking in here to take out Zaina, and maybe Ethan, who has a curfew in his fraternity, was heading out and was attacked right here in the hallway, and Zaina was falling right behind, and she got attacked and had defensive wounds, but maybe scurried back into the room with the killer following, and she got back onto that bed and was attacked there, and that's why there's blood on the outside of the home directly below Zaina's room, and that blood is seen right around in this area right here. And if you look, you can see through the window here that the headboard, if that's how the bed was, it seems like the only really logical way a bed could be in that room would be with the headboard against this wall, and then there seems to be blood coming out right around in that area, right there. Okay, so we'll go back to the camera shot inside. And there's the headboard right there, and there's the wall, and if there was blood dripping down, it could have seeped through the wall and then outside. And that would leave Ethan on the ground right here and Zaina on the bed. Then the killer comes out, and then goes upstairs. So for that portion, we go all the way back to here. Here's the stairs, goes back up, then attacks Kaylee and Madison in this room, and then makes their way back down, and then exits the home, which would be right in this portion right here. So right now, exits through the sliding glass door. So just keep in mind, I think what we're talking about here is exactly why law enforcement doesn't know if it's a targeted attack or not, because they aren't sure if any one person was the target themselves, but was it just that somebody went to the house to kill all of those individuals. So that is going to do it for this video here. I am working on another animation here. It looks much clearer. Let me give you a little preview right here. This is what this one looks like. Let me see if I play it. I'll just go through it like I just did the other one. But you know, you can see things a lot better, especially down in the living room. When you come back out, there's the couch, a little end table there, starting to look more realistic, and then out the sliding glass door. Okay, so thank you guys very much for watching. I really appreciate your time. If you could hit that like and subscribe button, that would be awesome. All right, so until next time, maybe even check out the live stream later. Until next time, everybody, be safe out there.